Welcome to Uphikelela podcast enqindilili. Igama lami nguluvuyo, isename nguNciki, abanthandayo neguest ngibiza uVovo. I take it bayandithanda ke sister. So namhlanje siphethe usisi uShelly. Abantu bamazi ngoShelly, but ke ID khona uPuleng and then isename nguGowa. And ndibiza isiXhosa xa ndibiza njalo but ke isiSuthu Setswana ingeyiphi language?
Same ngukwawu.
Kwawu manje ibiza ndiyayixhosalize.
So kwawu abantu baseBhayi bayathanda ukuthi kwahu.
Oh kwahu. Okay.
Yeah, eBhayi bazathi Shelly kwahu.
Okay.
But it's not akukho Europa, but Shelly kwahu and it's supposed to be Sisuthu.
Sisuthu.
Yeah.
Okay. Akani kasiba Suthu. Kasibuwa and ibile akusimxhosa othi kibua hanyani. Naki yatiba ki
Nakibuwa hanyani.
Yo, all right.
Akisibuyi, mara I understand.
Okay.
Yasiva here and there.
All right.
Yeah.
So mna ke ndaqala uyivisename yakho today.
Yeah.
I've always thought ngenye isename.
Yes.
I've always thought Johnson. That's why ngoku ndiyibiza na wrong after today because I just heard ngoku
Shelly Johnson.
Yes, kasiqale from Kleyo.
Okay. So Johnson is derived from my father's name, John.
Okay. All right.
My dad's name was John.
All right.
And I happen to have grown up at Johnson Road.
Okay.
And Johnson means son of John. So I literally wanted to name myself after Tata. And that's just purely for social media. So you could call it my social media name.
Yes.
But on my ID, it's Shelly Kwawo, Puleng Shelly Kwawo. Yeah.
I don't like uyibiza wrong igama lomntu
Yeah.
nesename yomntu.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no. Ibalulekile. Because njengoba ndinguluvuyo, akunothiwa kumntu ndinguvuyani. Like ndinguluvuyo. Like
it's actually interesting because I think my entire adult life, there are very few people who've ever called me by my surname correctly.
Okay.
So I've spent a lifetime.
Manu correct.
Well, I actually got to a point in Joburg where I didn't really correct anymore.
Oh.
So as long as I got my first name or second name correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So namhlanje ke siphethe uShelly. I am excited not to have wena apha. Dineminyaka and I think it's probably post-COVID bandikwazi. Because I think ndikhumbula nje apho. Yebo. So ana history oba hayi ngo90 hayi ngoba recent into it could be 5 years.
Yeah,
about
4 years. Yeah.
Yes. So into endenza nda excited ukudibana nawe and nangoku naqomba you have to come here patient. I'll explain something. So I felt into bangabana in terms of umuntu who has done well kwa corporate and then from kwa corporate aphinda be entrepreneur. So namhlanje for anyone who's seeing you for the first time, that's the reason we brought you here. Ukuthi you've done well kwa corporate and then wangena ku business and ku business you're excelling. But ke ngoku ndiyafuna ke ngoku siqale from eqaleni into ba Shelly ngubani uzalelwe phi?
Okay, Shelly uzalwe ngipuleng. eBhayi esaziwa as Puleni, zalelwe eMaplangeni.
Okay.
In what is now Kwaford.
All right.
Emaplangeni kwaKwaford. But ngizalelwe eMaplangeni na eBhayi.
Okay.
And then I remember visiting eMaplangeni. There were literally houses ezenziwe ngamaplanga.
Okay.
But I spent the early part of my life in Mhlaba Street.
Okay.
Number 12 in Mhlaba. I still go and visit probably once a week because my nephew lives at number 16.
Oh.
So I still see our home and it still looks exactly the same. So in Kulele Mhlaba until we moved to Soweto on Sea. Soweto. It was called Soweto then. There was not on Sea. It was Fear Plus. Okay. And it got the name Soweto, I think, primarily because of crime. I don't know, but there was no crime then. But people thought it was just mushrooming. Okay. So we moved to Soweto in 1977.
I
know, hey. We moved to Soweto in 1977.
Okay.
I actually came back from a holiday with my grandmother. Classic Godkaya, to this new place.
Okay.
This massive place, and I think then it was the Indians had just moved out.
Okay.
So black people were moving into this area. There were a few shacks here and there, but there was a shop and a backyard, a kaya. So that's where we moved to. And so I spent my formative years at Soweto, right? And that's where the business part comes in.
Oh, Mamela, we are one panje into uthi kwaMandiya. So
Yes.
if you plus Soweto kwakuhlala
It was other races, Amandiya ikakhulu. In fact, our house used to be owned by the Ramasamis. I even knew the family name of the previous inhabitants. So I must actually look up the history, but there is plots, like
okay.
small holdings. It was not necessarily a township.
So that's why Ufia plus is
Yeah,
a plus.
it was a plus, yes. Right? And you can tell because it's actually a flat plain. It's like a river plain. So if you were to go to my house now, Zabona, cook green because Lima, right? So it's right next to the Chati River. There's a river at the bottom, which feeds into Sarkops River. So that was what it was, right? Yeah, Goksokto plots, I think.
Okay.
Dala, yeah.
Okay.
So that's when we moved 77 from a new Bright.
Okay. Anzukiyeka kuba unangapi?
I'm turning 57 this year.
Okay,
1969.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
okay.
born in 1969.
Oh, all right. Mamela, ndifunde into entsha. I didn't know. Ndiyalibona igama le-Fear Plus.
Yeah,
Ndiyayiqonda nje uba ino plus phakathi.
yeah.
But ingqondo yami ayitsho into yoba
Never.
ngabekho kuphela ngolaa hlobo. So thank you for sharing that information. And hopefully, kukhona into ozasinika ne-documentary on that. We need to
Yes.
know these things.
Actually, there is someone who's made a documentary about Soweto and Sea.
Oh!
His name is also Luvuyo, by the way.
Oh, Luvuyo, ke bona
And
iketina.
he's a filmmaker. So I'm
Chini.
happy to introduce you to him.
Ay, no. Gama.
Yes.
No,
so,
standard.
And he's actually, we're trying to, hopefully it will work. He was looking for a studio, so I'm just trying to see whether we can set up a studio for the Kai.
Oh, wow.
So,
No.
Tell stories as well.
No, would love to be
yeah.
part of your London. Yes, bona ke ba wayisolapha. Unjena ke. This is why ke unjena okokona mazi whenever didibana nawe kubanjena. Yebo. Now uphayana uqala kwiphi primary? Ukhumbulayo.
Mna ndiqale eSamuel Nongongo primary. It's a new Bright.
Okay, because of
Opposite
Maplange.
Roma. No, because ahlala eMhlaba.
Okay.
So eMhlaba literally xa uphuma eMhlaba uphumela eMalakane, ucross Avenue A,
Sure.
turn a bit left, uyongena eHarmans. I think it's Strato eHarmans.
All right.
Kwicawa kuthiwa iRoma on the left.
Ndiyabona.
Isamuel Nongongo iyelapha right. That's the first school I went to. Dala kwakwaying sub A no sub B.
All right.
I was in sub B in 1976
Okay.
when we were chased by we were tear gassed in our classroom. And
Hayi
I
bo, abantwana.
literally jumped out of a window because they closed the door and tear gassed us. That's my abiding memory of that school, of being tear gassed in our classrooms. That was 1976. So that's where I first went to school. And briefly, because I do sort of meander, we then moved to Soweto, Kwabako. So we lost a year of schooling, obviously, because of that. And then moved to Soweto, Fear Plus then it was called. And I found a newly built school, actually Daniels Lower Primary School.
Oh, ndiyabona Daniels.
Yeah, we found Daniels. From it, Daniels, Diestieni, which is also Izwite.
Okay.
And that was during the second run, boycotts,
okay.
Same thing, Apple. I had no clue what I was toying about. But Kwaku student leaders, so also lost about a year of schooling there. But, after that, my mother then sent me to Esimo. Yeah, what's Esimo, mom?
Upesimo ke ngoku.
Esimo, if we are Julepo, Queenstown,
Okay.
if you blink, you will miss it. There's a sign saying Simo on the right. Right?
Avula amehlo pha.
But we didn't live in the town of Simo itself. We lived up in the mountains in a farming community called Ridsdale, which is beautiful in the Cutback Mountains. So that's where my grandmother was from. And my mother had a farm there. So ndofunda eRidsdale, standard 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what grade that is. And so that's my primary.
I think 5.
5, yeah.
So.
And then from there, ndakhumbula ndisiziswe by mom, and then Daya for an interview at Theodore Herzl,
Oh.
right? Kwakho umama kuthiwa nguMema Beach apha eBhayi.
Okay.
And what she was doing then, wayehamba eqokelela abantwana, like ogqirha, abantwana bevenkile, you know, like
Sure.
abantwana beprincipal. And then abafunele isikolo. The sort of the church schools were opening up.
Okay.
There was no Model C then, but the church schools were opening up, and the law allowed them to have like 2% of students of color, right, at that point in time. So Mema Bija, I know Waishala is Vranda, I think, Wamanesitata, siya for interviews, right, at the different schools. So in that Theodore Herzl, I didn't go there. Eventually, I ended up in St. Joseph's Roman Catholic School, Elape Kapika.
Okay.
In fact, Tembu Kwacha.
Okay.
And there's quite a few of us. Sasi Yapa, and I was in Standard 5. I was the eldest of the kids. So back when I get Standard 4, Standard 3, whatever going down. Sisi tutwake lokshini to that school. So
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my primary.
Ntono ndakuva.
Yeah.
Mamela, unjani ngoku ngabelungu nezazinto yazi xana ndithe ndabukela ifilimu ne?
Yeah.
Noba ngiya overseas, noba ngiya lapha, once ndibona into ze racism nantontoni, kulaa veki ndiba nengxaki nabelungu man. Next few days nethi ndibona umlungu ndicinga laa film endiyibukela uba aniva nina. So wena why experience use uphuma kwi-primary utsiba ngapha kwenansi kuphinde ngapha nangapha ugrand ngapha.
So mna ndinazo issues zam.
Okay.
Right, and ezami issues stem from people bazawuthetha about ilantuka unconscious bias of the white people.
Okay.
And as a child, I was fortunate in the sense that the schools that we went to, the parents, the white parents in those schools were agitating for the schools to open up. So they were welcoming.
Okay.
They wanted the diversity.
Okay.
Right. And so, I had friends who were Portuguese, who were Italian,
All right.
And especially when we got to high school, which was Trinity High. And so I didn't experience, and this is my first interaction nabantwana babelungu.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so this is my very first
interaction. Wawukwazi ukhumsha? Okay.
Like I would have conversations, yabona. From the age of 5, mama efunda evening post ne Herald. Ihlale apha, athi funda apha. So by the time I went to school, I could read English. Because the funda, mama yanfundisa.
Okay.
Apha newspaper. Yabona I was a lad lamiki. So ndishiyeka nabazali abadala kakhulu. So ndikhuleke ndikwazi uyifunda English. I might not have spoken English, right? But bendikwazi uyifunda. So theoretically I knew what to say.
Okay.
But amanye amagama. So anyway, ndifike phaya ndikwazi understand.
No, ndiyakuva.
And the majority of kids were fine. Even my best friend was a boy called Jeremy.
Jerry.
And Jeremy. I remember going to his birthday party and he was showing me his rock collection or something. I can't remember what it was. It was a collection.
Yeah.
So anyway, but there was one specific incident of a friend of mine. When you're kids in Selamans in Yashere, and then she was like, no, she didn't want to drink from the same bottle that I yabona. And the other kids were like, there was another girl, Martina. I was like, what's your problem, yabona? Ati, no, I don't like other people's backwash. So that's the first time Martina was like, is it because you're black? Yabona? But I didn't know what racism was.
Hey,
I was not used to white kids, but I didn't know what racism was because my father was mixed, right? So I grew up with umuntu onenwele
yes.
onempumulo, yabona, light.
Yamkhumbula lo ungafuna usela.
Yeah, ndamkhumbula negama.
I wonder uphi. Ansabona
I'm
umbona.
sure I have a visual of what she must look like.
Yeah.
But I actually felt sorry for her. I was like, and as a child, I'm like, cold drink. No, I'll buy you another one. So my immediate response was like, oh, you have a problem. I'll buy you another one. I have the money. Yeah, so I didn't understand. I was like, I shame. And I didn't even know what backwash was, to be honest. So I don't know. So my experience was that, but as a child, I didn't know what racism was.
Sure.
Then when we went to high school, it was also at Trinity where the old, there used to be Maris Brothers, St. Dominic's, and then Landuka, Holy Rosary. They formed a high school, and it became Trinity, and we were the first kids to go to Trinity. So I was 13. I was 13 then. So, and there, sifundiswa by Irish nuns, and so we were sort of secluded. Ewe siyahamba sisuke elokishini ngebhasi yakwaMantuntu size down sifunde Central, but you don't really experience racism. What I knew as racism was the fact that we were not allowed on the beaches. To me, that was
okay.
Yeah. And so that's how elokishini bekuthethwa ngayo. So we're not allowed. And in defiance, New Year's Eve would always go so fucking to paya humud. So I didn't really know what racism meant beyond the exclusion of us from enjoying certain things. Yabona.
Jonga ke ngifuna sibuye umva kancinci. Ndiyavuya sesifikile apha. Hey ngulonto leyo iTrinity bengani bisuka apha lento baseTrinity. Qala uyiva ngawe. Then okwesibini kudala ndimane ndibamba into bangabana kukhona abantu befunda eWoodridge eTrinity PPP nge80s. But for me ayenzi sense bangabana yesenze kanjani 80s kodwa apartheid because mina ndiye nge90s ebelungwini. So ngoku uya explain ngoba ezi izikolo zenkonzo. I thank you. Ngathi phethe enye master class uyasiphatha kahle.
Yeah.
I have to go back to your parents.
Yeah.
Who were your parents? Do unazo siblings? Ithini into because andifuna simshiye umama notata.
So umama came to PE when she was 14 to come and work as a domestic worker.
Hayibo.
Evela esimo.
Okay.
Right? Utata also came to PE to work, and he was what was called a delivery boy in those days. Bicycle delivery, and he came from the Free State. He was born in the Free State. He was born to obviously a white father and a black mother. And so umama now figure in 14. She had reached standard 6. And if you had a standard 6 in those days, you were educated. Right? But obviously the family, she wanted to, mama was driven. Mama was a go-getter. So she came to PE, was a sebenza, and this is where she met my dad, a domestic worker. I can't remember the area.
Okay.
But she tells a story apho mosi yazo sisi abasebenza endlini ngecawa bahamba bohlala under umthi othile okunxitywe kuthweni. And she tells a story about how kwakhole room aba hey kukhole chap intsha ifikileyo ingathi ikhala dirha kwathini and waqomba uyaya kozanxiba mama bene short gqegqegqe.
Okay.
Waya wafika pha wathi lo uzaba ngutata wabantwana bam.
Hayibo.
Yabona ukuthi lo and yababona lo ngutata wabantwana bam. Mama was my height and my dad used to be very tall, light-skinned, obviously with all of that, looking very Jewish. And mama decided, well, that's my man. That was Ihlale South End when it was still a mixed area.
Sure.
Greek and Portuguese and whatever. So they hooked up. They moved to Galvindale, and they had their first batch of kids, and so that's who they were. And I'm the 14th child.
So
14. Right, I'm the last one. Obviously, Dad I think I can't remember 2 or 3 before he met my mother.
Okay.
And so combined again, and then they started having kids. Konya, one set of twins. So I'm the last one. My mother was probably 46 or 47, 46 when she had me, and my dad was 57, I think.
You?
So, yeah. That's who I
Hey,
am.
okay, ndilindele 14. Yo.
So, yeah.
So did you get to meet the other 13?
Yeah, no, I know them. I know all of them.
All of them?
Yes, I know all of them.
Basekhona basaphilileyo, basaphilayo?
Basekhona abaphilayo, yeah. So I think one of the things it's made me who I am, right? For better or for worse. Growing up in a large family, it has its benefits, it has its disadvantages as well. So, but yeah, I was a light lameki, what they say in Afrikaans. I mean, growing up, I didn't grow up with my parents initially.
Okay.
Tata nomama behlala Avenue C, evenkileni. Babenevenkile pha.
Sure.
Bene-room enkulu next to the shop. Kwakuthiwa kwaXhego in those days.
kwaXhego?
Yeah, there were two shops at XHego.
Okay.
XHego where the Nyingwa family still is, I think, today. And then they had a bigger shop next door to Lapha Headbush.
Oh.
And that's where my parents lived. Besihlala eMhlaba with my brothers and sisters and their kids. So that's where I grew up. I grew up with. So tata no mama bebeza inglo beza once a week anthathe xa ya sale mama or driver. Kanti tata naye afika zonthatha xa yokwenza deliveries zakhe. So I would meet them sporadically during the week. Okanye xa ndiyapha evenkileni ndofuna ilunch, into ze-lunch.
Yo.
So yeah.
I think uBra Market Bush wakho mention ishop yakokwenu.
Yeah.
Hey, yazi hayi ndiyothuka uba ngabona siphethe ne history yasebhayi.
Yeah.
Like ubone esingayaziyo thina sikhula sekunjalo.
Bona sekunje, yeah.
Umama notata bashiye nini bona?
Mama passed away in 2020.
Njengoku.
Yeah.
Hayi.
In fact, it's one of the reasons why I eventually decided to come back. I had no plans of coming back to PE. And then my dad died in my final year of university in 1993.
Yo.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, but they lived, man.
Mama was 97 when she passed away.
Yeah.
But my dad was 76 then when he passed away.
Yo.
that's-
Ndiyavuya into yoba ngabana I'm sure xa kwenziwa documentary uzawungena more kuthethwe ngabo if they become part, but ziyafuneka ezo zinto.
I think they were very private people.
Saba thina ngoku hayi abekho ngofuna unqanda.
Yeah, they were very my parents were very private, yeah. In fact, I remember I have a specific memory of accompanying Utata. Kwakho iKakok, Eastern Cape Chamber of Business in those days.
Okay.
And a winner award.
Okay.
Yeah. And in fact, those awards I just heard now, but were initiated by Sis Talks, head
Oh,
coach Sis Talks Bunguluza.
okay.
I heard now at the funeral. But Utata had won Businessman of the Year award. So I went with him to go and receive that award. So that's, yeah.
Mna ndiyafuna kwenza documentaries ngezinto. We have to have
Yeah.
Londole. In fact, we will talk because khona segment endifuna kuthethwe ngabantu abangasekhoyo to celebrate them. So that's if money more info. You know, siyazi ba ukho bani. Yes, iqalwe ngbantu ethile.
Yeah.
Okanye yayisenzeka kahle lento mayiphinde ibuyiswe lento because this thing yayiseve lethile lethile. You know, so I'd love Londole.
Just to digress a little bit, there is someone who's done that in New Pride. She happens to be married to my nephew.
Oh.
But she's focusing specifically in New Pride. And in fact,
Okay.
she had some awards about 2 years ago
Okay.
where they recognized political activists, community builders, so that people don't forget.
Yes, nazinto benditsho.
Yeah.
Nambalapha. Mamela ke ngoku sisose Trinity, sendibona uniform yenu.
Yeah. Grey skirt.
Sendibona iblazer inenantsika, sendibona nje. Ithini into yakho ngofuna university uba indoni? Like ngoku se high school, komntu influencer into bangabana ufuna.
So, one of the things of growing up with my mother, I literally, as a child, bengazukwazi uyitsho ba ndifuna uba njengomama.
Okay.
Yabona, but ndikhule mna kungekho expectation on my side uba ndizawuphangelela omnye umntu.
Okay.
Bendicinga mna uyabona. But at some point in time, ndandise kwaMaxake High. So Mkile Trinity, I fell pregnant.
Okay.
And I had no clue, but anyway, I did fall pregnant. And then I end up KwaMaxaki High.
Okay. Hayi ngiyayifuna kodwa la part.
Yeah.
Hayi ngathi
Oh, we can
ngathi
delve
ishushu.
into it.
Hayi ishushu.
So when I was and end up KwaMaxaki High. And I remember Sasimezline assembly.
Sure.
Kuku Miss Mazomba afika eklasini yethu ephethe amaphepha guidance teacher yethu African teacher yethu fika phakathi amaphepha ba nazi forms banofuna apply yaba ndandikwa 10A ke maths class maths and science and abantu ba no so sifumane those were the days most abantu besacinga ba azokwenzeka and those papers were the applications for Shell scholarship right. At that point in time, I was like floating now through life. I've always floated through life. I had a child, yes, but so I grabbed the form, the applier, and I was called for interviews.
Wow.
I was called for interviews, sitting in front of 6 white men panel, and interviews, Grahamstown. And I got the scholarship. I had no clue what it involved, but I knew it's a scholarship.
Okay.
It was a merit-based,
All right.
which is what I think some people had a challenge with. So it was not a needs-based, obviously, but it was meant for Black and colored and Indian kids. So I got in.
Oh, wow.
And part of that included spending a year at DSG St. Andrews
Okay.
as a sixth former, post-matric.
Okay.
So I did a year's post-matric at DSG.
Khona high school ngihanguye kuyo.
So so essentially you did first year courses through UNISA
Okay.
whilst enjoying all the benefits of, it's I think it was a course designed for kids who were not sure what they wanted to do.
Wow.
So we did art, we did music, we did kwakumandi.
You expose so that ungangeni kwinto ongayithandiyo
Yes.
uyibone uselapha.
Yeah, so there were about 6 of us, 3 girls and 3 boys. I remember Nkosinathi Wigo was on the other side, on the boys' side. So
Okay.
Tina girls who lived at DSG, but we attended St. Andrews. So, and we did some, like I did maths 1, I did stats 1, I did English 1, I did computer science 1 through UNISA whilst I was still not the full modules.
Sure.
But I did pass English 1 and stats 1. So at varsity, I already had courses.
All right.
So part of that scholarship included going to UCT. So I was then sent to UCT afterwards.
Wow.
And I figured UCT, and I decided I hated maths, I hated computer science.
Fika kwakho ngoku.
Yeah, I chose them because I admired someone who was probably the first Black woman that I knew of who went to computer science and gwalapha eBhayi. Yabona, naye wakaXhego. Yabona.
Okay.
So, and she was friends with my sister, and I said vets or something, one of my sisters, but benza computer science. Apparently, ndiyafunda ke mna ke
Yeah.
PE library.
Yes.
Ndihlala pha ndifunda encyclopedias. Ndifuna nam kuthiwa there's something called IT ezawuza. Asikayazi.
What?
Yabona. So ndifuna ukwenza computer science. So I got in there and then I realized, no, I hate this. Right? I hate sitting in a lab. I'm not a person who can sit still. I get distracted very
Is that
easily.
now first year ke ngoku? First semester mhlawumbe.
First year.
Yayibona ba
I was like, nale maths, I was good at maths, but I didn't have the makeup for. And I was like, this is boring. This is my aim was like, I want to start my own business.
Okay.
So business So I didn't have that thing, but funeka yabona. So I was like, business. So second year, fortunately, in my first year, I had decided to do economics as well. I decided to do sociology, intro. I decided to do a whole series of other courses besides maths and stats and whatever. So I could carry on in second year with economics as my major. And I got a scholarship, say economics. I just carried on with economics. So I graduated with economics as a
Okay.
major,
Oh, okay.
economics major.
Hey, economics ke mna ke ndicinga umuntu uzaba analyst or ntoni
Oh,
ingqondo yami ivele
yeah, apple.
iye up wena wayisebenzisa njani yona?
So in my final year, I decided, because I was going to be this business mogul,
Sure.
right? I decided to do an additional course called Introduction to Personnel Management.
Okay.
I did company law 1, company law 2. I did business law 1, business law 2. I did industrial sociology, like introduction courses
Sure.
to learn about different
Yes.
aspects of running a business. So that was my main aim, but I need to be equipped. I see where my parents are at. I grew up in business. Nandikhule mna ndangayodla nandithengisela.
Oh wow.
Ndandisetilini, ndibhale umatric mna ndihlala etilini every day. So I knew but I'm gonna go into business. And then so once I graduated, Mama said to me, I must give her a year of my life. Right? Right? My mother was like, I must pay back.
Okay.
So now my dad has passed away. My dad passed away while I was still in university. So I went back. So my parents actually were the biggest black-owned paraffin wholesaler and retailer in the country. Something that a lot of people didn't know about. So I grew up in that business. We had a tanker, we had trucks, we sold. The other people that had a similar business, they were Ngoqeqe and Nabo Headbush. So we did cartage for a whole lot of other people. We sold wholesale, I say we as if it was me, but it was my parents. So but I grew up in disebenza club business. Ngecawa even lesangavula those days. Khule mina sibala imali ngecawa. Monday after school ndihamba no brother wam no driver siyobhankisha for Dilpate Standard Bank okanye Nedbank. So that was my life mna. It was working on things as a shop, the prices into sixhome package and the wholesale. Yabona ndikhule ngolo hlobo. So but when I came back, obviously I'm a bit older and there's family dynamics and you start listening lona uthi lona oh ndifuna uzikhupha mina kuya yonke le nonsense.
Banjani ke ngoba le 13 ke ngokule ngaphana
But there'll always be dynamics, especially when there's perceived wealth. So other people might have their view of the story, obviously. So I speak from my perspective. So I knew, but there was always talk about I leave. I'm like, these people are still alive, right? So from my perspective, I was like, you know what? I want out. Dati mama, I'm gonna come and help you for that year. So ndafika ndancedisa ndenza ntoni. There was a corner that was not being used pekaya. Mama had a supermarket. Yabona general dealer in the paraffin, and she had farms. She did potatoes, thengisa gas, samalahle, thengisa inkuni, yonke into. So kukona pha engasetyenziswayo. And that ndifuna la kona. Wathi ufuna ukwenza ntoni ndathi ndifuna uvula ikhefi. So she gave me the corner fridge yakwa Coke engasetyenziswayo. I opened a cafe there, then thengisa amagwinya, i-Russians, baloni, pie, Klanzi, freshiweyo, intoni.
Mamela khabuye nje ngiba ngabana so umama kwi supermarket ne?
Yeah.
Ikhefi ke ngiyinto ba kuthengiswa ukutya okunansikaya.
Yeah, I mean mama sold ipai namaqanda. But it was not a full blown.
Okay.
And at that stage, Soweto was not a place people lived because they were poor. It was a place people went to because there was no housing. So it was not about how much money you had in your pocket. Yeah, but it was because of unuhlale back room and you bright or whatever. Izwito yayingakakhiwa in those days. Yeah, so you had people who were teachers, school principals, whatever, so my experience of it now was people who read magazines, who read books, who were DJs, So, but by the time I came back, obviously, so people started moving out. And when they move out, they move with their spending ability.
Sure.
Okay. And at the same time, what was happening is that you were getting a lot of the foreigners coming in, Emma Costin Napi, beza with cheaper products. Kule thina sithengisa i-fatties and monies. Kwaza ezipasta uzibilise disintegrate, but abantu ngoku, remember they're cash strapped. So bafuna izinto ezicheap. And mama couldn't because she refused to sell those things. Yeah, I can't be feeding people this. Yeah, I can't be feeding people that rice. I sell proper things. So the business was starting to suffer because she was refusing to sell those cheaper items. To us, so the demographic profile yapaya had started changing. So anyway, so she stopped selling zonke those zinto. I was like, no, I'm sure there's still some people bazazfunayo, so let me try. But what was the bestseller was amagwinya.
Yes.
And I like the whole thing. And so I started doing that. At some stage, I started making more money. Right?
Yeah. Is that the news has been out?
And I bought she had bought me stuff. She had bought me a car for 1,000 rand, Skorokoro, station wagon, the Passat. And then the Tengsi get ice cream.
Yes.
I took one of your brothers, Nabandwan. But share that shop, right? You guys must share.
I'm about late.
And ndimo sasebenzayo, but ngoku we sharing that. Davulisa i-Herald, dabona i-ad kuthiwa kufunwa i-finance clerk kwa Edgar's, Green Acres. I was like, how difficult can it be? I mean, I grew up in business, and I'd been told by my mother that I'm so clever. My mother used to say, you are my special child.
Wow.
Right? You are my special child. You're so clever. So I got that affirmation, but I'm brilliant. Yes, I did very well at school as well, but I constantly yes. So I applied for the job. The figure park interview, and this woman looks at me, brilliant Scottish woman. I don't know what she was doing here, but funny, And she looks at me, she's like, my love, you don't have an accounting, did you? But the ad didn't say anything about that.
Accounting.
Yeah. And so I walked out, right? And I I'd organized an interview with another employment agency, paid Duncan. So I was like, whatever, this woman. So I go for this appointment. I walk in. This woman throws my CV with some white chick. You have no experience. Like, why are you wasting my time? I'm like, excuse me. Like, and I have a degree from UCT. What do you mean? So I walk out. So I'd organize another one. And when they add a pepeni, when class situation in Yasekai, could talk for sales marketing executives. Apply again. The figure part for my interview. Figure some round table. Some guy, big guy, Africans. You have a degree. Okay, yeah, you can make up to 25,000. I'm like, 25,000, right? So anyway, 25,000. It's okay. We'll get back to you. Do you have a car? Yes, I have a car, but I don't have a license. Don't worry. We'll get someone to drive your car with you. The poor man, they call it taxi, the buyele kaya. And because I didn't drive myself there, I had no license. I was driving, but I had no license. By the time to figure out, I have cell phones. So umlungu phone leyo apho to uyaqalisa Monday.
Hamba mlungu.
Dithi AP number, yabona? Athi dijonga okay le yale marketing company eselantuka. It was called Urban Jungle Fever. It was called Jungle Fever, American company. So anyway, so Monday I'm there, dressed up. Difike, I must wait at reception. Diofika ngcimile mos. Prepared, fika ngihlale reception. Uthi qelinye lady umakoti afika ahlale ehoqa ehlangu. Okay. Hello. Yabona wena uzele ntoni? Athi nayi nami ndizele lento uyizeleyo. Ndiyaqala namhlanje. Dithi ngoba marketing executive. Yabona mapaca. I'm very judgmental and I'm still very young as my excuse. So anyway, sihleli apha ke. Ndive man bakukho noise echoyo behind me. Who's the best? Yeah. Kuba ntoni? Ndiyava ba it's like some hype
The hype nje apha
Yeah.
abantu.
So aphume ke this colored woman comes to me. Athi, are you Shirley? Ndithi, yes, I am. Athi, okay, let's go. Yabona? Sihambe simlandele siba yi-4. Siyaphi? Ndiyabuza mina siyaphi? Siphume, yabona? Athi, we're going to my car. Did I, what exactly are we going to do? Athi, no, training. Did you, okay, all right. Singene, xa sifika emotweni, athi, you can get in the back, and then ubani makahlale front. Ndivula umnyango, ndindawo the back, nxa, get toys. Whoa. Are we selling toys? Athi, no, we go to companies, we market our products like farmers. Athi, so sengenile ndiyangena ukolandela emva kwam ndophuma ngomnye umnyango lowa. Uthi, where you going? Did you know? Uthi, why yeah, shout. Tell me where you start speaking Afrikaans? Did you, hey? Yabaleka nje emain street dokhwela itaxi lagoduka. 2 days later, Edgar's calls.
Oh man.
Okay, right. You did personnel. Did you? Yes, I did personnel for, introduction to type personnel.
Ubashiyele iCV.
Yeah. For my first interview, got to know.
Yeah,
Accounting. So we see you did some personnel. Yeah, it was called personnel for final year students, personnel management. So we have an HR admin position.
Okay.
That's how I got my first job.
Oh man.
Right. So that was my very first job. And saphala power Edgar's clinicals upstairs.
Yabona. Mumela uyazi bangabana ucoverishe into ekungafani kuthethwe ngayo. So ucoverishe into yobangabana we grew up mnake ndingoka 80. So ndibhadle nge-80s. So nge-80s kusavalelekile. So nge-80s siyazibona shops, siyabona kwaMantuntu, siyabona kwaCheese, siyabona kwaBanibani, kugcwele zona. And people are buying pha. You covered into yobangabana itshintshe njani market. Yabona kwaza ntoni. Now enye into esingafane sithethe ngayo into yobangabana eza company, eza shops sikhule zikhona. Kuye kwathini for bazingahambi. So in our minds, why uShirley engahlali xesuke UCT engahlali kokwabo? You've shared when bayenzeke njani. Even why uShirley ezafuna ku Edgar's? Why engasuki ngaphi? So if bangabantu coverisha into ebalulekileyo because sonke accomplethethayo cha siyayazi nje ba xa ubona umuntu ba hey kwaku shop kokwabo ke lona. But even though a grand, it doesn't mean ba sidabantu ophaleleyo. But even though but ngoku you are answering that well as bangabana ni end up kuhambe kanjani. Mhlambi ungathi ba yintoni binokwenzeka for succession apha ezifamilini ephosakalayo. Bang is it mhlawumbe ngabazali okanye i-siblings ezi avela zibona umuntu senelifa ngokuphila lo muntu ithini into.
So it's actually a very important topic into legacy businesses or family businesses, whether they become a legacy or not. So there are a couple of things that impact on whether a family business survives or not. So the one I've mentioned, obviously, lento yoba i-market change.
Sure.
Right? And you can change with the market or you don't change with the market.
Okay.
So eventually mama obviously change, but mama yena besemdala even at that stage.
Okay.
So yena beyenzela abantu bakhe.
Yeah.
So one of the things that ensure that the shop stayed as long as it did, open as long as it did, is that Uber bafika kudala thina sideliverisha ekhaya. So into yo Uber Eats, your deliverisha, no gas deliveries, whatever. My parents did that way back. Right? So ekhaya, as I said, bekuthengiswa iparaffin, besinetraka, bikhona ezeparaffin, bikhona netraka deliverisha grocery. So abantu abathenga ngenyanga bebethenga izinto zabo zenzwe zodeliverisha, especially ngamaxamba amakhulu, zodeliverisha ngetraka okanye ngebhaki. So kwekho ibhaki netraka. But bikhona nebhayisikile ekhaya. engu-Dekville, ene-box
Ndiyazibona,
yabona izabhale
yeah,
ene-box
ndiyazibona,
enkulu
yeah.
emnyama and
Ndine
yellow.
picture yayo nangoku,
Yeah, bhale
ndine
kwaMakhaya Cash Store. My dad was a die-hard Kaizer Chiefs fan, so it was black and yellow.
Okay.
So bekudeliverishwa into ezincinci bezideliverishwa pha eSoweto ngalaa bhayisikile.
Okay.
Bazi mnantukazi khonkulu kakhulu ngebhaki, bazi ngamaxamba amaninzi ngetruck.
Sure.
So one of my tasks was to actually prepare the orders. Kwakho izitoro, sekhona izitoro ekhaya nangoku. So zibekwe, ba lena iya kwa-phi, kwa-Ntontoni kwaMadini, lena iyaphi, lena iyaphi, lena iyaphi.
Yes.
So a lot of the families bebethenga ngetyala, babhatale mhlawumbi ngendodla okanye babhatale month end.
Yes.
So they had lines of credit, beneencwadi. So bekho iincwadi ezimnyama, ezi-exercise books zingaka. So ile ifamily binekopi yayo, sifike sibhale, ndisayine, mama sayine. And that's why I say in concept Uber yonke laa nto, it's something that my mother did a long time ago. So she survived with those things. Yeah, because although other people moved out, other families still needed bulk items. Abana's transport. Bangaya khosi bathenga into ezincinci, but into ezinkulu ziyadeliverishwa. So that's one reason why a lot of the businesses went that way. The second most important thing, I think, is that a lot of kids grow up in these families. Abafundi kwenziwa ntoni.
All right.
Yabona nje, but oh, okay, apha, so umama une-pricing scheme, nanyi ubomama une-pricing scheme yakhe. Was one fundisa. Yeah, she had a flat 25% markup, and then she added VAT. That was her pricing scheme. We vela 25% and then we add VAT.
Okay.
And then if uthatha ngetyala 50% and we add VAT. That was her pricing model. Very simple. At the end of each day, ebekhupha 15% wakhe we-VAT, akhupha 25% wakhe, le ishekleyo ayothenga esinye stock okanye ngale ishekleyo, la 25% mhlawumbi uyothenga igusha okanye she expands into other areas.
Wow.
So I grew up watching that, learning about that. So I knew all of that. I don't think everyone else in my family did that, but I certainly did. I can't speak for the others. So bendiyazi ba, okay, so if akekho ke ngoku umuntu uzawunika ivenkile, my mother gave shops to some of my siblings. Banikwa ivenkile ezine-stock, abanye banikwa ivenkile nemoto nantoni, yabona. So one of the things I noticed, because I had the benefit of watching and listening to everyone, is that abanye abantu abayi-understandi laa nto, la 25% markup.
Okay.
Nala cost of sale. Angakufuneka nguyitye, funeka uphinde uyothenga istock. Yabona. Now, awukwazi uspenda la 25% usaqala. Because the stock esinye sahleli on the shelves, but you need to replenish. So awukwazi uthi hayi la 25% ngayitya. Yabona. So some lanto yenza in most families banga restock ibhange ivenkile because you're eating the capital. I think it's something that happens even with tenders.
Hayi ndimamela uba ngaba ufaka umasterclass nyhani kukhona abantu bazawufumana even when sathe ngento eyisenziwa dala ngumama ngoko le nto ithethayo abantu bayinida ngoku.
So that's the second reason, right, why some of them didn't survive. And it's just we don't all have the temperament for a business. Yeah, so now I thought I didn't want that life, right? When I eventually left, I was like, I don't want the life of Pangela 24/7. And if only the weekend, you're always on.
Yes.
You are always on. Yeah, one. And whether wenze imali or not, abantu bafuna ukubhatala. Yeah, one. So I was like, yabona le ukhoboka parents am andibufuni. So, which is one of the reasons why I went to find another job besides the family dynamics. I was like, andibufuni ukhoboka obuya ndikhulele kubo, I want a break. Yeah, when so in a lot of families, mama wanted me to become a doctor. That was a dream for me. She wanted to have doctors in the family. My sister that I come after, Naye, she went to do medicine, a vet, and then she ended up doing microbiology and biochemistry. And then she did micro and biochemistry, and then she went to do medicine. Halfway during medicine, she decided, but no,
not for yena.
she wants to cook.
So phosisa.
Wahamba wavula ivenkile, wathengisa ipapa and flakes ePolokwane, and she became very good at it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have your own aspirations, you have your own dreams, you have your own way of wanting to interact with the world. So that's one of the reasons why in a lot of families, abanye abantu bafuna ukwenza into zabo. And yeah.
And yazi ba I pressure esibafaka kuyo abantu bakhulele shop nokubajaja.
Yeah.
Because because if sayazi ba bekwi shop apha enjoli apha eFairplus ubanibani utata ke bekunjeni uba lo muntu is going through something kuba sonke we go through izinto in your mind like hey ha wena wayeke ishop yakho kwenu noba awuzutsho kuye
Yeah.
if uhambile uzohletywa ngalonto ba hey lo ke yayinjani ishop yakho kwabo
I still get that even namhlanje.
you
So I'm fast forwarding now. So I obviously moved when I decided to move back to PE during
Sure.
COVID. I moved back home for various reasons. But the assumption was that obviously ndiphalele and therefore kuthe ndingavuli. And abantu abaninzi ba oh my friend basithengisele ukutya okubolileyo ebhuleni. Yabona solo wekhalaza avula ivenkile mamakho wayesinceda tonton kutheni ungavuli.
you
And so banibona when I arrived I had given myself like 5 months. I'm going to just zen out. I'm going to raise my chickens. I'm going to grow my own vegetables. So this is what they're seeing. And they're like, "Kutheni ungavuni ivenkile?" And like, so yeah.
so siyabajaja
Siyabajaja.
and thank you wena for
Yeah,
sharing it ngolu
yeah.
hlobo it's important ukugqibothetha and andiyazi man yazi if besikwazi ku government kulula you're one person ebekumele ba iNYDA into zosida nobani bayakubiza for you to have a master class. Do you know how practical it is indlela oyishare ngayo into yoba uyithengile into wafaka u25% ogqiba wafaka iVAT and that's it. And then tata u25 late umbeka up ubeka lena up then lena you go back and buy stock. Ingangathi impamano but email bihamba njalo. Wamention into yoba ngabana uyaqala ngoku so awukwazi ukutacha lo 25 because kusekho esingekahambi istock you know then so we need londo you know so thank you for sharing it and making it ibonakale is simple because bekumele ba injalo and ngiyasithetha nje ke if ukhona namandla we need those classes we need and azizikwenzeka free makubhatale for such classes as well. Mna ke ndiyayifuna ipart yoba ngabana bangacimba umuntu xa kwa government uthi haman vovo wena yenza le course yena uyarhola NYDA phela kwenyanga mna ngoku thatha 2 days yam to go and do the master class for free.
Kuthiwa give back.
So thank you for sharing Lord. I'm sure abantu bayibona uba why ndikubizile ke.
Okay.
Ndiyafuna ubuyela because ndibanelaka mna to have abantu banjengawe to myself. Ndinelaka yoba ndisurroundwe ngabantu abanjini conversations zibanjini. This is what we normally talk about nezinye zideep. So ndiyafuna ubuyela back clean yakwa Edgars because ndiyifuna ijourney yakho yakwa corporate.
Okay.
Yakhula njani at least ngoba abakubone so kwiposition ezithile abayazi ba uphansi uthengisa toys. Uzokhwela
Imagine.
empakini.
Exit toys.
So ithini wangena Edgars kunjani?
Ndangena kwa Edgars and I'm a personnel officer,
Okay.
right? I share tiny little 2x2, literally 4 square meter office.
Okay.
Zulu, kwa Edgars asinazifestire upstairs. The store manager yachaya office yakhe.
Yo.
Ne? So you can imagine I am every day, yeah? And I'm a personnel officer, ngigcina files stuff and ndifike pha. At that stage, going back to lando ye racism. During the 80s, my parents were very involved behind the scenes kwinto ye politics.
Okay.
Right? Utata jeba silele, utata wayethutha comrades.
Okay.
Ngetraka, yabona. xa abantu funeka baye somewhere kudlulwe eKenkel Boss mos kwakubakho i-roadblocks eKenkel Boss. Tata wayelayishile ngathi ibhaki intoni kwakho ivenkile yasekhaya ekhona nasesimo mama wayenayo.
Okay.
So wayetransporta utata bazumisa mos because akakho.
Okay.
Yabona.
Hayi tata sine-documentary ngotata
So-
ayixoxisi.
So in fact someone approached me from Soweto esithi bandifonele esithi ucela uapplyele pension ye-veterans for utata because tata the history kwathini kwathini.
Mayenzeke.
The ANC's first office Soweto ibisekhaya.
Yeah.
So-
Siphoso sithenda kunjena. Hayi. You.
So that is the story. Yeah, well, sorry, I forgotten what I was talking about. But
No, besithetha ngento bangabana ubuyela kwa Edgar's.
Oh, yes, kwa-Edgar's.
Yes, ubuyela kwa-Edgar's and then
So-
ukhona racism.
So yeah, so my experience of racism, obviously, that very militant because I think of the exposure. And when I was at UCT, I was waiting to cross main road, it's a Rosebank. The press say Ilanduke traffic light for Ilanduke. Ndithi xa ndisalindele kube ndibone nantsi ikhumbe i-white ezayo ya and so ndilindele idlule ndive ba kukho into ndicinga ndilandukelwe intaka ndilandukelwe intaka ndinawuthi hayi ndibona mos ndiyaziva ndimanzi yabona ndiva abantu abahlekayo ndindawuthi nangamabhulu amapolisa akule khumbi ayahleka caba bandicela right. So at that moment in time, you know, when you like,
What just happened?
my first thought was, and my mind just went through that whole thing. And from that moment on, I just was, you know, I started. And I also, obviously, we knew Lende were not allowed in certain beaches and Dondoni, certain restaurants. And I'd also experienced the whole thing, but in some places we could go in with my dad. In some places we couldn't, if akeko, right? Whether it was white people who practiced that, the Kumla Constantia Center, you were not allowed to park as a black person, la parking I said back.
Pier 14 Constantia, ne?
Pier 14 ngoko. Yeah.
Bangayaziyo.
So I remember, so we'd driven in, Tata had a beautiful car, Tata xa esemotweni qhuba brother wam, right? Tata uhlele passenger seat. Iboom gate iyavulwa. Akubuzwa ba uyaphi na? Akubuzwa ba kwenzeka ntoni? Iboom gates ziyavulwa whether ngumuntu omnyama okanye well those days ngabantu abamnyama. So things were easier when he was there. But akhumula simdrope siphume kwelinye icala. Xa sibuyayo ngoku asami notata. Ungaphakathi mos zomlanda. Akafuni lo bhuti akafuni usingenisa. And then the way he spoke at us. So I had those little minor aggressions. Even endleleni, umise traffic light, umntati kafir, just out of the blue. First time, my brother took Isa, obviously in English. So I'd had those. I was like, I'm becoming more militant. Actually, you know what? These people, and so Edgar's. And when you walk in, Sasa was supposed to say, good morning, how was your weekend on Monday? I'm like, how was your weekend? And then utusapendula umtadlula kushiya. And you quickly learn, but like good morning is just it's just ticking a box. Umtu is not interested in saying in your response, firstly, or even having a conversation with you. Because a break room, a staff room, but wena akuncokolwa nawe. So there's also all these microaggressions that you learn. As you know what, and develop in a home where I have to be honest, we were privileged in the sense that we had a cocoon. My parents had worked for white people, and my mother wanted to recreate the world she had experienced in those homes where she was a domestic worker.
Man.
So I grew up with the best of the best in everything ekhaya. Other people might not have seen it or knew what the value was. But because I read a lot, so I knew, but carpets ekhaya were pure wool, like they were imported. Okay, so even though surrounded by Sheikh, my mother wanted to make sure that we had the best.
Ubani igama likamama man?
Nomangesi Sabina Masiba. I'm Mama Kawang Masiba. So that's who she was.
Hey umama ndiyamthanda man.
No, Mama was a force of nature.
Because umama yazi bangabana hey hayi ndiyaqala uba ngabana undise kwinto yoba umuntu ube yi-domestic worker. Then nje domestic worker abone baphila njani abantu bamhlophe. Then athi ke ngoku yena would want le life yababantu
for my
kids.
Myself,
and then angapheleli apho alindele abantu mabe ngogqirha for bamphilise. Ibe nguye oyohaslisha to have londo and then abantwana bayiphile lonto. That's just
my mother.
You ngenye into.
So obviously my older brothers and sisters also helped.
Okay.
Nandifike, I mean,
Kuba late.
sendimdala.
Yes.
So we are a multi-generational family.
Okay.
My eldest brothers and sisters
Ngokabani yena? Njengoba umama ngaka-20 into, i-eldest ngaka-19
were
ba?
early 1940s.
40s.
Yes.
Yo.
So badala.
You?
So obviously my dad was in 1917.
Umntana kunomandela utatakho.
Actually, my dad was born on the 7th of July, 1917.
Umshiya ngonyaka uMandela.
Yeah,
Ngathi yi-light. Ukhona umuntu othi uMandela yi-light Nkosi yami. Can't imagine.
So utata no mama, right? That's how old they were. So obviously interacted very differently with each generation of their kids. Now probably my brothers and sisters would say I was spoiled because I used to talk back to my parents. They were much more settled. Now I had the privilege of coming home from school, whether it says Daniels or whatever, office no mama not that. But when the office yabo, and they would sit across from each other, and figure big stool plastic, like this,
Yeah.
So my brothers and sisters didn't have that.
Wow.
So they would have a very different worldview of what home was like. So my worldview was of growing up with these two people that I thought were phenomenal. My dad had stories about during World War II. I was like, so he had all these fantastic stories. And my mother obviously had her fantastic stories. She would tell you about this Irish family she worked for, this Jewish family she worked for, and she had Chinese friends. So from a food perspective, she had quite an eclectic taste. Mama, into the juicing, I'm juicing, dinner 10, look at juicing machine, because she'd heard some Chinese guy, carrot juice and ginger and orange, good for your skin, it will preserve you.
Oh, wow.
So the cooler the juice and the capkelo machine because the clean the juicy carrots for my mother. So they were very worldly in their outlook. And I think a whole lot of families in PE were like that. The fact that we were confined to townships didn't deter our parents from living a fabulous life.
Yes.
Yeah, and even better than some of the people
Yes.
It was just that we were condemned to those areas.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So hey, and ke mna ke wena ininzi into yenze kuqala kum apha.
Yeah.
Undenze ndabona iSoweto. You are the first person to say iSoweto hasn't always been for abantu baphuwa. You are the first person to.
It was for mavericks, abantu who were adventurous.
Yeah, no, ndiyaqala uyiva.
Yeah,
Mna xa kuthiwa Soweto ndicinga ububosi, ndicinga crime, ndicinga ibona ntoni. But wena ngoku indlela ubeke ngayo ndavuya ba uyishare loo nto. Sayivuyela. And then apha kwa-Edgars uya ungena cooperative ukhula njani?
So kwa-Edgars, in my second week, right? Kwakho enye friend yam yayiphangela kwa-Volkswagen isenza i-Abbott, ifundisa abantu i-Abbott, ne? We were in high school together, sasenza umatrix abayithiwe kwaMaxaki. Wathi ngifuna, I think she felt sorry for me, shame. So obviously I'd never shared. I was not a talkative person. I reacted to people. Okay. So someone would choose to be my friend, I would go along with it. So athi like sapha CV yakho, ngathi uhleli clearly bayanisizela. Sapha CV yakho ntonto nzayifaka pha kwa-Volkswagen. Ndimnike. And then Vuli Herald dibone graduate recruitment program. Nam ndithumele. So this woman, her name was Anisha, she calls me, Ati, I got 2 copies of your CV. Yeah, you sent one and then someone else sent a CV. I said, oh, okay. So I went in for an interview. It was a countrywide recruitment drive. And I became a graduate trainee at Volkswagen as a marketing. So that was then after 2 weeks at Edgar's.
Aye.
I still spent 4 more weeks there. Because I think I started in March and then I Edgar VW August.
Oh, so
yeah. So I literally spent 6 weeks, a total of 6 weeks at Edgar's. And personnel, sometimes working on the floor, assisting during big sales. So it was a nice experience, but I definitely knew HR and dealing with people's issues, not my thing, not my forte. So I left and then I went to Volkswagen as a graduate trainee in marketing, where I started, basically it was 2 years of going through the entire marketing division.
Wow.
And Volkswagen practiced classical marketing. Okay. Volkswagen is a marketing-driven organization.
Okay.
Everything is driven by marketing, right? So from product development, and I think I was very fortunate. I arrived at a time where, I got to experience some of the best people was at Volkswagen. I don't know what it's like now, but at that point in time, I managed to go through all the various departments, from warranty, pangela for a month, paya production, line in, man mover from. So one of the issues apa, line in, and from one body shop, body shop, don't press shop, body shop, until you end up at checkpoint. It was checkpoint 9 in those days, I think. And then one because of Zonka, you spend some time at a dealer. So I got the full gamut experience. Wow. And then after a certain period, you were offered positions by the various departments, depending on how you fared, obviously. So I was offered, I think, 3 positions, and I chose to work at Audi for the Audi department. And I became a product planner responsible for imported units out. In fact, the Audi A3, every time I see an Audi A3, I'm like, that's me. Because I wrote the business case in those days, obviously with the help of my boss, but it was my first business case.
Jani, what does that mean?
For the introduction of that model into this market, into South Africa.
Like, what does it mean, London?
Prior to that...
So I can be A3.
I can be A3.
Okay, so but decided to
Germany, yeah.
Okay, so
you need to do all the work is it a viable market? Don't, because it was a luxury hatchback. You can City Golf, you can Golf, GS, right? Jeez. I say 90s.
Okay, so we
like 95.
Okay.
Yeah. I think 95. My memory is a bit. So when you launch a model, doesn't start a year or 2 years before, right? So I'd worked in this long range planning. There used to be a long range planning. There used to be a short term planning. Long range, you look at trends, right? You work. You look at trends for everything.
All right.
Right. So I remember at that particular moment, the only luxury hatchback be Alpha 145.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So being like a premium brand, hatchback. South Africa.
So Alpha
competitor. So there was no other premium hatchback.
All right.
Kona Golf, but it was not a premium. Kona Congo, but not premium.
Yeah.
So you start by looking at what's the potential of the market. Because they can't with salaries. So people are starting like me. Some of the white people, it's the first time they worked with a black person as an equal. So all and other people I worked with, so obviously as funny second hand.
Sure.
As funny second hand. As funny models inja. Yeah, so I'm saying nothing. I'm saying as black people.
Yes.
And so a lot of people are getting into that space. They're starting to earn very well. I think the difference, something happened in those years. The difference, my sister's, my late sister, she was 6 years older than me. Her first job, salary yake, as a graduate, she earned 200 rand.
Yo.
My first job got Edgar's as a graduate, I earned 2.4,
Yo,
2,400. So it's, in today's terms, but then, So, kukho abantu, and South Africa is starting to be part of the world again. I think we're coming out of those years of Ilandu exclusion
Sanctions.
internationally. So you look at those things, you look at where's the market going. People are moving away from bigger cars into smaller cars. More women are driving.
Yes.
So it was not always the norm that women drove, right? People were like, oh, shall nemoto. It was, So we used to look at Misa Banemoto, it was a big thing. So a whole lot of people are starting to, women, not just black women, are starting to buy cars. So this is a suitable car for that market. So you do things like that. You look at trends, you look at color trends, you look at fabric or leather, you look at the car park ekhoyo. Babangaphi abantu abazawutshintsha imoto in the next couple of years, and There's a lot involved. You do your market segmentation, which is my absolute favorite thing. That's what I love doing. So you do your market segmentation, you start building what's called customer value propositions for the different sub-segments of Unozi target. Because the market is very broad. So you need to narrow it down. So you do your customer value proposition, and then that customer value proposition will determine the products, the servicing model, the channels, the pricing, and all those things. So I'm trying to summarize very quickly, but that's...
I'm excited as much as I'm excited about when you for le brand yethu ngoku.
Yeah.
Uzawuqhuba nam on how we're going to take Upikelela to kwenye level.
Yeah.
Perks of having ichomi ezinguwe.
I say it's classical marketing because a lot of people think marketing is advertising or it's PR or the end part of it. But classical marketing is product development. Classical marketing is doing the segmentation, it's doing all those things before you even get to advertising, before you even get to a TV ad, before you even get to an event. Those are just tactics to achieve an objective. But classical, so I had the benefit of that experience of walking into an organization that was one of the best.
Wow.
At that point in time. And when Audi was rebuilding its brand, because then Audi was, it was not a good brand. So I was there for the launch of the Audi A4 into South Africa. I didn't launch it, but I certainly was there.
Okay.
So, but that was locally built.
Oh.
So my portfolio now was the imported models. Yeah, so that's
inkulu lonto leyo. So I know into bamhlamba uhambe indawo ezininzi ikhona enye uqonda ba apha this but ndiyayibona ba umuntu akadevelopa indawo eyi-one.
No.
So yabona from what you're sharing ininzi indawo odlule kwasesikolweni.
Yeah.
Nomama nodlula apha nokuya ngapha ikhona oqonda ba apha noko ndiye ndaphekeka apha for ba ube kule ndawo sizawuthetha ngayo kuyo ngoku. But kodwa yona it's unfair.
Yeah.
Umuntu ba ngathi ngindawo ethile ethe.
No, I do have indawo well, maybe one or two, but there's one that does stand out because it taught me a lot, but it also taught me about myself, especially once ndimkile pha.
Okay.
Because you reflect.
Okay.
Like I've been exploited almost. So one of my challenges personally is that at that point in my life, I worked for the challenge.
Okay.
And I think this is something that will resonate now. Indoba, when, there was 1 year, Mama was she a farmer salamba because this was she nayo was lambisa ukutya wakutya wahamba nako. But I can't say but I grew up poor.
Yes.
So one of the things that I was fortunate enough, I know maybe I won't speak for my other brothers and sisters, but I didn't grow up wanting money.
Oh.
And kulanga nsithi ndifuna kwenza imali, ndifuna imali. No. right? It was like my mother instilled in me, for better or for worse, a belief that I was meant to be of service, that I was meant to help people because I was fortunate, because I was blessed, I was clever, I'm a special child, and I had no idea what special meant. So she instilled that in me. So I didn't go out. It was not because of imali. I mean, I was making, so at that stage, I thought, imali, whatever. Yeah, it's nice to have, but it's not a thing in my life. So I used to work for a challenge. Like, what's a challenge? What's a solution? What needs to be done? Do you understand? What can I learn? So as much as I was growing, right, I was not financially, yes, I did well, relatively speaking, but obsessed about, I need to wear this shoe, I need to dress like this. I've never had that. Because ndanxiba evenkileni mna kwakuthengisa impahla ekhaya
Thathe phayana.
ukuya phaya okanye kuze abasisi bathengisa imigodlo athi mama sikhethele phaa 10 rand 20 athi khetha nge-50 rand uzawukhetha kweza second hand clothes. That's my mother. Regardless of how much money she had, uzawukhetha kulaa migodlo yabasisi bavelelane emhlophe thengisa impahla second hand. So I didn't have that drive to make money. I had a drive for solving problems, for challenges, for being the best at what I was doing. And I thrived on that. So from Volkswagen, the recruiter, GuSamco. Samco, the recruiter, GM. Yabona, so at GM, the recruiter to Sandpark. So I've never looked for a job.
Yeah.
Right? Beyond my first initial application, Edgar's, Volkswagen to the graduate training program, I've been referred by friends, or headhunted. So I've never looked for a job. So I didn't have the drive to make money. I was looking for challenges. I was looking for a way to make things work.
Wow.
That was my thing in corporate. So,
Mamela ke
yeah.
Yaqhubeka. Ubhuti mana thengakhendi kuba kukho ubhuti okuncumisayo apha akuthi oops ithini into obhuti bathini into yobhuti abatheni benqabile.
I obviously have had boyfriends.
Okay.
I was once married briefly for like 9 months.
Ayi mtshato lo.
So brief. And so firstly, I never yabona esikolweni abantwana practice signature udyora nabani. Ungumntana sevenkileni ukhule ufunwa.
Okay.
Right? So you don't learn the skills of communication. Well, I certainly didn't.
Okay.
You don't uyafunwa. Okay, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah. But after a while it's like
I can't.
It's very easy to cheat on other people if ungakhange ufune.
Oh.
Yeah, but especially if you think, well, okay, whatever. So I had no objective. Zange instilwe kum into yoba funeka ndichate. Funeka ndibe ne relationship. And I think in those years, don't have sex, don't. Yeah, so they didn't tell us about, okay, how do you move from don't have sex to being married?
Oh, wow.
So a lot of my friends would, like we 40s, but hey, I think it's getting late. I want to have umdana, but umamuza uthini? I'm like, you're 40. Right?
Yeah.
So I didn't have that. So yes, I have had relationships, but I am not an easy person to be with.
Young?
No, I'm not. I think I'll say this for myself.
Sure.
I don't tolerate fools.
Oh.
Right? The younger me kept quiet. I went along.
Okay.
Right? I went along with things because I didn't have a clearly defined ideal of what relationship I want, because I really didn't care. Whatever, okay, kumandi. I think the one abiding thing I don't want to be fighting over a man. I thought I was too good for that. Yabona, and the moment umuntu ngathi, I was like, ooh, right?
Okay.
Yabona, I don't want drama. And I already had a child. And there was a perception up here, I don't know whether it's still there, I don't know.
No,
But unomntana, you damage goods.
yo, I get.
Yabona. So I remember this boyfriend that absolutely loved me and adored me. And ndakhumbula ndibuya for December holidays, wayondithatha, wayondibeka endlini. And all of a sudden, akandihoyi, kanti uyatshata.
Hi.
And then I hear about kuthiwe to the guys, ningadyoli noShelly because ngumntu wam. Like, where's this coming from? And he came back assuming that we'll literally just carry on and that I will understand because ndinomntana. And then his mother would never allow it. I can talk about them because they're all gone. So it really hurt, right? That I am judged like that. I grew up at a time, strangers.
Hi.
Yabona? My mother's in her 60s, there's no way she can have a child this young. So I knew, so there was always that. So I'm a very anxious person. No, I'm going to say anxious. I do suffer from anxiety now and again. And I think it does come from a whole lot of other issues. But I was like, I don't need people. I don't need you. And I had a wonderful dad. I'm sure Mama, I know she had her own issues. But my dad absolutely adored me. My brothers absolutely adored me. Right? So I had positive male love in my life that I didn't have to ask for. Like, my eldest brother would come to my on Bona. And I used to be surprised, like, because now I was an introvert. So, because you understand? So, and my brother, one of my late brothers, we can ask, so
Sure.
I had brothers who doted on me. I had a father, cuddles and hugs. So I've never had to beg for male attention.
And
then you get these people where I must prove myself. So initially, you yazama, okay, kwenza njani about good relationship? And I'm in my 20s. Because yes, I had, but it was very different. So those things. So now in your 20s, okay, I decided I want to be more social after I came back from varsity. But I lived my life. I didn't care about anyone else because I think we had such a full life at home. And it was a large family, so I appreciated the noise, the silence. So now there's a person, okay. And I remember I broke up when they moved to Joburg. We broke up. But then I moved to Joburg and then he tried to make up. But I didn't think it was going anywhere. It was like end up living together. But I live in the now. I used to live very much in the now. To the point where when they asked me to marry them, I thought it was a joke. I said yes because I was like, he's drunk, whatever. And then next thing I said yes, thinking about, okay, he's going to stop bugging me. He literally called, there was a party at the house, he called back everyone to celebrate our engagement. Did I not freak out? Did I not freak out? I literally went to a casino in Cambridge. What have I done? What have I done? And I didn't tell any of my friends. So that was me, right? Now I am stressed. I start losing hair. I'm like, oh my God, this person, I tell one person, but hey, this person asked me to marry them. And obviously, my friend. I'm like, yo, that's all I'm thinking about. Because actually now I was like, how do I get out of this thing? right? That's all I'm thinking about. Leyo hlalisana, leyo tolerating umntu. Yabona, you know, andibani nayo lena into. But at that stage I had not learned voice,
Voice out.
communicate
Ukuthi, hayi,
kakuhle,
no.
setting boundaries.
Yeah, but assertive.
Yeah, I internalized a lot of what I was feeling, of my fears, zinditye, you know. And so now I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to ignore this. I'm going to just, hopefully, it will go away. He'll forget about it. Yeah, what? So I mentioned the story because it's a defining story in my life and why I am who I am. I think when it comes to relationships. So I'm thinking, did I ignore it? December, proposing a 31st of December. I'm going to ignore it. I started a new job in Jan, all right? And I remember I met this guy, right? And he was one of the people that I worked with. And for the first time, I felt something towards someone, proactively. Not someone hitting on me, chasing me, whatever. I felt attraction. And it's my first time feeling this. Like where I'm like, oh, what was that? Now, I have no clue about what it is. At that stage, I couldn't verbalize, but I'm attracted to this person. Yeah, well. So I remember, he takes a call. The phone a friend, I'm 1 year engaged. This is my friend. I think I've just met the father of my children. Yeah, one. I look friend, engaged. So I obviously the other person felt and wanted to pursue, but I didn't. That and I. So before I get married, I'm deciding once I'm going to ignore it. Ne? So when go June, I remember go December, go June. I tell this person, "Uthani mama kangaphenduli letters katata manje." Hayi, uthani tata for. Ebhalela umama letter. Uyifumene njani address asekhaya? Athi usembhalele kade kakabini. I'm like, right? Ndifonela umama. Mama, bukhe wafumana ileta ezithi zifuna ubhatala ilobola. Athi ewe. Kaloku wakho wandiphoxa khona umuntu wakho afika kumama.
Yeah.
Esithi uzonlobola. Ndingamazi mina. Lo muntu yena cabanga someone I grew up with. Xa usetilini wonke umuntu ucimba xa ncokola nawe ani tight. Mina just a guy.
Yeah.
So umama wamnika inumber yam, this guy ufuna unditshata uye eJoburg okwenza imali come back to rescue me from Soweto. Anyway, so umama ndamphoxa, hey ungakulinge.
Yeah.
So umama ngokufumana izileta zelobola, she decides filing tray yakhe kazuzoya. Okay, ke kufuna uzawulotyola. So anyway, lobola happens. As I walked up that aisle, I was like, this is not it.
Njengasefilimini.
This is not it for me. I knew, even as I was driving to the town where we got married, I remember I was with my daughter and my niece. I was like, guys, what if we were to just drive back? We're driving from Joburg. What if we were just drive straight to PE and both of them screamed, run away, Pride. I was like, what am I letting myself in for? As a result, I even said to my aunt and my sister and my brother, bare minimum, because I need to be able to pay back. My aunt is like, how pulling? You know what? So, and I tried to get out of it a month before, but the person was like, he'll sue me for breach of promise. I freak out. Oh my God, I'm going to be sued. So anyway, I decided I'm going to give my mother the best present ever. My mother had 14 kids, or some of those 14 were hers, most of them. But none of them, none of them were involved in the process. Maybe one or two wakabas or lokyola, but yayingasonto. Yabona zange babachat. Mama wakha izindlu zethu emaxaki wenza igadi yandle because I was going to get married in that beautiful garden. Yabona, that was a dream. I was her last hope for a white wedding.
Oh man.
So when this person decided, actually I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna give my mother what she wants. I couldn't be a doctor. I'm gonna give her a white wedding. I'm sorry for the other person, but this is what was going through my head. And he might have a different recollection, but that's exactly what I experienced. So I ended up getting married. It was a beautiful wedding. It was beautiful. Yeah, my mother enjoyed it. Yeah, the pictures. And I'm glad I did that for her. At my expense, of course, but now I was pretty stupid. So.
No. Yeah, I cannot.
So your question. No, but I mean, obviously, on and off when I was still in Joburg, but I think I purposely went for people that couldn't commit to me.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, I couldn't articulate it then, but I attracted those people.
Okay.
Because I got to a point where I was like, actually, I don't know what I want in a relationship. I don't know who I'm looking for. Am I a good girlfriend? Would I make a fantastic partner? So I started a lot of that introspection, right? But would I make an ideal partner? And so I spent probably about 2 years interrogating that and interrogating the choices I'd made in the past when it comes to relationships. And what I was prepared to give or not give. Yeah, one. So for me, it was, I had fun. I'm not denying I had fun. Yes. I love Zulu men, but anyway.
Yeah. Episode, yes, ininzi on ingqondo bayisebenza njani.
Yeah. That's what I like doing, I think. I am that person.
Yes. Ilapho, you make me think about why are certain things happening and why this is that people go through but abathethe ngazo and that abanye bayoyika to be judged yabo so we voice out ube ngathi urongo but abanye bayayenza bengayithethanga then luyithethayo is the bad person yabo luyithethayo is the bad so wena thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. Ndiyafuna ke ngosiye apho khoyo ngoku bengike nakubona ufumana ne-award sendiyivile i-corporate yakhe ihambe njani.
Yeah.
Uyihintile how you came back eBhayi but I'd love to know ngoku kwenzeka ntoni uphi ngoku bengenzeka ngibona ne-award usemazweni.
Yeah. So I think lento ye-friends. Once I found my voice, once I learned that social media, I think, gave me that as well. So I think it was after the death of my mother. So I didn't want to come back to PE because of family dynamics. I was like, anywhere else but PE. I used to think that I hate PE. I just detested everything about PE, the dust, the wind. Don't get me started. And then my mother dies, right? And I had left corporate in 2016, it's actually 10 years now. And I had been involved in various ventures, and my mother then passes away. When my mother passed away, it was during COVID. And at that stage, I had, during COVID, I'd had an ad agency, I had an events company, so I was doing quite well. And obviously, I used to do strategy as well, I'm a strategist. COVID hits, everything gets canceled. I was fortunate enough that when I learned about what was happening in China, I started getting fit now. I'm a planner. I'm like, lungs, don't, I need to get fit. And prior to that, I'd been involved in a business venture where one of the partners stole money, right? So, and I was devastated, obviously. It was a lot of money. And then I went into another business venture with another friend of mine, and then he brought another partner. And this partner basically just did a number on us, right? And basically threatened my livelihood. So I had other things I was doing, but this venture required more of my time, yet it was supposed to be 5% of my time, but it was taking most of my time, and I wasn't able to work on my businesses. I had a beautiful life. I had a beautiful house I was staying in. I had international holidays, I had 2 cars, the kids went to private schools, and this guy wakia imali, and I was not paid for about 3 months in that part of the world. Obviously, there's still, but I didn't adjust my standard of living when I left corporate because I was making enough money in all the things I was doing to be able to afford my lifestyle and beyond. And you have savings they say you have savings for at least 6 months. So this guy, when I discovered he's a cocaine addict. I was like, this is putting my life at risk, my livelihood at risk. Imali by the other partner who's an accountant, transferred money of our bank accounts to myself and my business partner. My business partner, what was I was like, energy. So Lona, what do we always preach to small businesses? I used to be general manager for marketing for small business at ABSA. And we used to preach this thing where you need to tone down, you need to do. I'm like, I haven't done that. And if I want to be truly independent and do things on my own, not with other business partners, let me scale down. So I sold one of the cars, right? I moved out of the big, massive house into a beautiful apartment because I was like, ooh, right? Don't want to end up on the streets. I was not starving. I mean, I had a beautiful life. But there were cash flow issues because of what this guy had done.
Sure.
Right? So I was like, no, let me scale down. Right? So moved into a nice, beautiful apartment. The kids were still at private school. Young and right? But I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. So let me start making sure that I don't spend all my money. So anyway, so COVID hits. Everything is canceled. I was fortunate enough that I had some other side gigs. Right? I got approached to be a board director at Gauteng Tourism. So I became a board director there. So I was earning board director fees, even though it's public service. I then got approached to be a strategy director at a big ad agency. I was like, I don't want to be employed, but I can do a short term while you look for another one. So I became a strategy director over teams. I had a team at the ad agency. And so I had that. I was also on an advisory panel at Innovation Hub at Pretoria and marketing and comms there. And then also through friends, Jongeland, where people say, we're looking for this. It's like, here's a person, right? I also was a business advisor Pay Innovation Hub, but another division, the climate change, I became so I'm sitting there. My mother's passed away, Njasa is vandalized, right? And so I'm obviously sending money. There's my nephew, Olungsayo. So ndiyalungisa amadonga, but ngokusihlalisa umntana like not even a relative, bamakajonge indlu, yabona. So COVID hits. I'm staying in this 5th floor, beautiful apartment, but I don't feel grounded. And Mama was the last one then. I had lost 2 sisters after one another. My nephew that I loved, my brother. So 5 people in 5 years.
Sure.
And those were the close. Sorry, I'm getting emotional, but those were the closest people to me, right? So you don't actually process the grief because one after the other. And I was like, I actually don't feel grounded, right? And Joburg, I need to be in a space where I can just be. And even ekhaya Soweto, ekhaya kukho iyadi enkulu, kukho iiroom ezininzi, there are high walls. I can be outside. So I can be outside. And I'd been just diagnosed with irregular heartbeat. And I was pre-diabetic. Because stress is so pangela, corporate young leyo. And I was like, I need a healthier lifestyle, right? And I've always yearned for a farm or whatever. Nansi farm for 40 years. I can't do yenzekayo kuye pai. Nansi njasekhaya vandalized because I can't do it. Demand ilungisa qha. I was like, young and ngenzayo is online. Young and ngenzayo is via Teams.
Yes.
I also I pivoted like everyone else. I supplied a hospital in Joburg with the hospital gowns and masks. So I was liquid, so I had money. So I was like, I can do everything else from ekhaya. So I had this thing, people were dying around me. Izibhedlela seJoburg bekugcwele. And I had this fear about Zawufela Joburg and my family is all in the Eastern Cape. Right? I was like, ngubani, umama akekho, ngubani ozozandlanda umzimba wami. And I come to Kwaba, my nephews, because the people I was closest to were my nephews and my one brother. Bakhona abanye, but I was not close to them. So, and abazukwazi ngoku ukuze ndihlala with my grandchild. The whole admin of having to repatriate my body from another province. So I was like, I'm going home. Dawufela ekhaya. Abantu besifa, and I had close friends ezifela ekhaya, ndaqomba ndifuna ufela ekhaya. And so it was a culmination of a whole lot of things, not just one thing. Zonke izinto played a factor. But a year before, I had said, I want to go back to the Eastern Cape. I had not planned on coming back home. I thought maybe I'll do East London. I want to go back to Yabon. So, but I'd stated that on Facebook. But I'm done. I'm planning, I'm working my way out. And then my mother obviously died. So I decided, let me come home. Right? Go June. Send packed. Those are in storage. Right? And I had this little Fiat, I still have it. That in Zawamba, electric blanket, my blankets, my pot plants. I gave away furniture, I gave away things. I sold a whole lot of stuff. The stuff that you can get anyway. So, but I'll keep the things that I really, really, truly love. Yeah, because I can start afresh. I've done it before. So, and the weight of responsibility was just too much for me. When you have these nice big houses, because if insurance, I'd had so many, I was like, I'm at a point, I'm post-menopausal. I don't want to be dealing with the admin. I don't want to be protecting things. I just want to protect myself. Like when you have a big house and you have maintenance, I had a full-time gardener. I had a full-time domestic worker. I had a garden service. I had a pool service. I had people coming, like I lived a very beautiful life before. So I was like, anyway. And for years, I'd spent whatever I made on other people. I bought people cars, so I'm text, like I was that person. Nansi my work on the license. Yeah, I was a bit stupid. So I was like, I just want to be. And I didn't recognize that it was burnout. I was burned out. And from trying to be in control of everything. So I was like, I just want to be. So I remember, now I'm digressing a bit. My parents were the co-builders of Iphakama building.
What?
Right? So I got elected onto the board of directors of Iphakama building, the company that owns Iphakama building. And so I'm trying to, it's still up now, you're right, so in involved by Ubuntu. And when I was in corporate, I used to sponsor things. Did you join my friend? How did you manage to get Ubuntu as a vaccination site? Because I want to get Iphakama as a vaccination site as well. Oh, and I've known him since we were kids, right? Usepai, not yet, but I'm going end of the month. Who in PE, call opportunity as a MTN, bafuna people who've worked in corporate, who have run businesses, big business in, corporate business, and they have a phase whereby they're selling their stores. Wow. Right? I come to Mazio. In fact, why am I asking about right? So here's this person. I know that person. I used to work with them at ABSA. And that's how by the end of that month, I had been through the process where we do case studies. I landed in PE on the 1st of July, 2021. I already had 3 stores, but I was only going to take ownership on the 1st of December. So
I think it's been around that time.
Yes. So I had all that time. So Ndabuya, got those 3 stores that I took over, acquired from MTN. And obviously they were not necessarily all the best performing stores, so which is why you got a basket. So maybe one would be. And so that's how I got into it. And I then acquired 2 more stores from another dealer that I bought myself. Human Stop Nase, Jeffreys Bay. And then I pitched for another store. It's Zabaj, Molenja. At that stage, I Boardwalk. So I pitched and I got Boardwalk as well. So I had 6 stores. I've since closed 1. So, and before anyone else, because this is what I get, they're not yet profitable.
So le uyivalayo bone izinto ba no.
So one of the things that they said to us is that you need to be able to tell whether to close or what to do. So what we were told ba sinezivengile, right? Sizirana from eGauteng. Ewe sinaba abantu kwi-regions, but asazi into nge-retail.
Okay.
We are a telecommunications company. Sifuna abantu who at least abane experience. Obviously, I had retail banking experience.
Sure.
Yabona. So, sifuna abantu abenza abanayo lo experience and who can tell, who are going to act as business people.
Sure.
Right? Who are going to make decisions as business people. So the one store, in fact, it was a store where I worked every day for 7 months. Yabona ndiphangela ngibe uniform ndiphangela ndiye to the store. And I realized, well, man, akho point as a store. Right? Because firstly, abantu ba motivator for ivengile balapha kwi region. Abayazi rent imani. Abayazi staff sibhatalwa mani. Yabo zaziwe eGauteng ezo zinto. Bona bane targets zabo. And the targets zabo azinanto kwenza nix ne profitability. The targets zabo. Yabona? So I decision making yabo ayizofana neyami. So ndifike kwezi stores na 3 stores ngiqomba, hey man, akho mali apha. Yabona? So in fact I am losing imali ndiyayenza kwesinye but every month
yongena ngapha ngoku.
And the panic about ayininzi le mali yabona because ithatha ngapha yabona. And so I start doing the numbers. I do a P&L, profit and loss statement, and I look at the foot traffic yapha. That is not the right location. Awukho enough foot traffic. Abantu baya kula mall, abayanga browser. We are a food lovers market. Baphinde bangene emotweni ba drive baye Westpac. Yabona? So asina ayikho la foot traffic. Nomnyango wethu useGangeni. Yabona? So and the cost of running the store far outweigh the income that's generated, right? And not only that, there's literally, it was running at a massive loss. So demotivated, and did guys, this is not gonna work. But I rent. I will never make money in the store, right? Because esinye sikufutshane eWoma, sikhona esinye sikufutshane ngaseKabeka. And le mall ayisebenzi njenge enclosed mall. Yabona? So it doesn't make sense. So baxamlisana unyaka odlule i-debit order contract leasing ngami ngoku. Ngoba yo
asizazi ke zo
challenges. Ndingena ndizifaka entweni. Yabona? So and this stuff obviously when you buy a business from another company, you have to take the staff over. Ngabani baqhela usiphangelela uMTN. Akho umuntu njengami uzawuza ahlale abahlalele apha. Bayakwazi ukuthi bangene ngo 8:30, umuntu engene ngo 9:30. Akho umuntu ujongileyo umuntu ungena ngobani. Ewe so bayalungiselelwana. Yabona? And this salary zabo are pitched at national level.
Yo.
So akho umuntu uzawusuka, akho umuntu ufuna usuka emsebenzini. So aku perform and bangathetha omnye decide bazixelele yabona abantu abangaziyo information omnye bazixelele sizamsokolisa lo in fact kuzo zonke sizamsokolisa lo to the point asibuyisele ku-MTN siphinde sibuyele kwa-MTN. Omnye wafaka i-case yena ufuna ubuyela kwa-MTN. So in fact it got to a point omnye ndathi jonga niwase so wena ungangilinga uniqhele. I was like, language yami iyitshintsha. Yabona, so because abantu kwabakho i-movement yoba ndizawusokoliswa. And abantu abamnyama bebembalwa. Kakhulu ngabantu
bathetha into ntoni.
Abanjengathi but abakhala, yeah, yabona. And kukho that racial dynamics ke. So nabantu abaphangela kwi-region nabo baqhele ukuphatha abantu abamnyama. So badilishana nami ndithi hey andisebenzeli wena. This is my business. Yabona, you're not going to talk to me like that. So even so, I've been in Joburg for 24 years. I come back to a PE where you can still sense the unconscious, the privilege of certain races in this town. And the PE has always had that stratified sort of racial, yabona ba, and to a point, the threat nation as gangsters as a Galvindale, yabona was a Vinglenam, Wanklel in Dabazamo, and Fonele, and a Kupi Soweto. I was like, you know what? Yabona, so Daival. So eventually there was an internal Dondoni investigation, and they reviewed programs and they discovered by, you know what, Kuko is into Apple certain stores. So that Daival. Yes. And then I closed another one, Esekinako, lease Yaipela, and the landlord didn't want to sign a lease with a private individual.
Oh.
And also now it was not a money-making operation. Yeah, because it was just, the value is just not there. But what I'm proud of, now I'm digressing, I'm motivated that I get additional support because siyanideka, so ndivule kiosk panguko.
Okay.
Because I was like, we need to offer certain services to Abantu, even if it doesn't make money for me.
Sure.
But for the company, for the brand, we need to be there. So you guys need to look at how you support me in being there. It's close to my house. That's where I'm from.
No, ndiyivela naloo leyo. Yo, Jonga, ndiyayiminisha mani into yoba i-masterclass yezi zinto ndiyabuthanda ubu-practical.
Yeah.
Yazi abantu andimfuni umuntu othi makuthandazwe iphelele apha. Like wena uyathetha ngezi zinto ngobunjalo bazo.
I think I'm a scientist at heart.
Ne?
Okay, I say that. I don't know. But one of the things that's been very useful in my life is getting to know myself. And one of the benefits of being in corporate is you go through all these programs and dondoni. And we did two things. So the first one is where they do those where they do those tests, whether left brain or whatever.
Yeah.
But they look at certain aspects, negotiation skills. I know I'm not good at negotiation, but that's the only weak point. As a spider, where some songers see even at a high rate for each point. So maybe which is great because it means I'm pretty well rounded. But at the same time it has its disadvantages. So I did that. The second one was something called the Enneagram, a pilot project up in South Africa it's a Myers-Briggs. I've done that before, but when I did this one, it helped me understand myself when I'm at operating at a high energy, high level, and also when I'm operating at low levels of energy. And so knowing yourself allows you to give yourself grace. And when you make mistakes.
Okay.
I know that when I'm triggered, when I'm hungry, when I feel I'm being taken advantage of, and I keep quiet, I eventually become very resentful, and I erupt.
Okay.
I become very destructive. So that's something I work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moment andifuna singafiki makabathi masesifala ba wafumana ndakubona ufumana awards.
Yeah.
So sicacisele ezi.
Yeah.
Kwenzeka ntoni bufumene ntoni award ya ntoni?
So the award was basically it's an operator of the year.
Okay.
So kuko e-channels most kuko online beko his stores. So within his store I operate within the store channel. So operator of the year and via categorizer, so between 1 to 5 stores. I have 5 stores now. So I won that category, operator of the year. And they look at pillars like your operations, your staff benefits. My staff, I mean, I have medical scheme, I have whatever.
Wow.
So all those benefits, life cover, funeral cover for those who want to take it. I subsidize all of that.
All right.
So I subsidize a data sim. You must want to take it. I don't force people. Abanye abantu bathi ayifuni. So, but there's a life cover, there's a disability cover, there's funeral cover. I've got a medical scheme that I have in place. And so things like that, your employee wellness, having a plan for succession. So I have, like there's someone I'm coaching into the operations management role, and your finance. So I've got an entire finance team, your HR, how you run your HR, your engagement with the company, whether is it one way or do you give inputs. So sometimes I forget ban pangeli pa.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem. Yeah, behaving at indipangela pa.
Okay.
So but they look for things like that, your level of involvement. It doesn't mean I've reached my targets, but it targets zabo,
Okay.
It does not necessarily mean the targets are much higher. Because the targets be profitable.
Sure.
So I haven't reached my targets because you're building the business.
Yeah.
Uqala with 0 customers. So funeka build a customer base yakho ukuze eventually. So angafiki, but that's what the prize was. The award was for. Okay. It was a complete surprise because I think the same chain in the business. Abantu established. So that was a surprise.
Yo, thanks kakhulu. Mna sekucacile nje into yoba ngabana akho gqibela sakwenza into. If abayenzi ababesibathetha, ndiyafuna uba usebenza nawe when it comes to into as a masterclass, and that nakanjani mna nawe ne-brand lesiyikhulisayo sesenzile over iminyaka. I feel into yoba ngabana bekumele uba siyaqabela ngoku, but umntu experience yakho knowledge nayo ingangabe iphathi yayo not for free, makwenzeka izinto because sonke sizi-entrepreneurs. I must pay for that. I'm prepared to do londo for uba siye kwenye level ebengenzeke. Yabo. Ndiyavuya kakhulu man ba ube khona.
Kakhulu. I hope it was useful.
Kakhulu. No, I enjoy. Mna ke sham ke bawubethakala bahlali ba mna ndiya-enjoya uthetha nawe. And then there's conversation thela ngazo into yoba ngabana zizinto abantu abangathethiyo ngazo, but we go through zone when we are thetha ngazo. So it's good ukufumana izinto and so on.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks
My
kakhulu.
pleasure.
Ne?
Yeah.
No. Ininzi into but sawuthetha na off camera. Guys, thank you so much for watching uPhikelela podcast Inqindilili. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And xa bebukele uYouTube, don't skip i-ads. Siyayinida loo nto leyo, you know? Yeah, and thank you. Mna ndienjoyile. Xa ndienjoyile ke ndiyayazi standard was enjoy and they will be inspired. Thank you so much.